All right, this video is going to be potting up one of the seedlings from the cross that I did. I've already removed the label. I was going to try to stick it on another pot, but I messed up the label when I did that, so I'll have to print a new one. This one is seedling number 2. It's currently in a 3-ounce solo cup. We're going to put it in either a 3-inch cup or pot that gives that much room on the side, or this one's a 3.5-inch pot. It's quite a bit more room. I think that's too much for right now. We'll see when we take it out of the pot how many roots it has. That kind of will help determine. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to go with a 3-inch pot. That's usually what I do with most of my standards, unless I think it's going to be a really big one. Then I might put it in the bigger one, or if it's really root bound in there. So to get it out of here, we kind of squish the pot a little bit, loosen things up, not too hard, just enough, and then kind of dump it out here. It's all right that some of the soil came off, or the soilless mix came off. You can see some of the roots growing in there. They're white and they look good. Just kind of gently let some of the soil come off, and then we'll replace it with new soil. So here's one of those little immature leaves. We just kind of bend it to the side and take it off. See if there's any more under there. There's not. At this point, if you wanted to give a little bit more of a stem to make it a little more stable, you could remove a couple more leaves, but I think I'll just leave it the way it is. So just gentle, removing a little bit of the soil. You don't have to, but it's good to kind of freshen up the soil. The soil can get acidic or built up with fertilizer or salts over time. So, all right, that one's ready to go. So here's the new pot. We will print a label. So I have my label maker here. I've got the name of the cross, and then let's see, there's the next line. I put number 2 first so that I knew, and then the date that I planted the seeds, followed by today's date, and we'll print that off. Take it out of there. And I usually trim up my labels, so I'll trim it up just a little bit closer. All right, these labels are really nice. They kind of got a waterproof, it's like tape on the top almost, and keeps them waterproof. They last a long time. They bend in the middle, and you can peel off the outside part. All right, now let's stick it to the pot before I get the pot all messy. I am a messy repotter for sure. All right, so we need a new wick for this one. So in a jar over here, I have yarn that I've cut into the length that I like, and I have it soaking in water with a little dish soap. I am using Ivory dish soap, but I've used Dawn dish soap before. It's just Red Heart yarn you can find at Walmart, or several craft stores have them. So just put it in one side there. I like it to kind of cross over like that. And now let me get some of my soilless mix here. And we'll just put a little in the bottom. If I want it to be a little more stable, we could definitely remove those leaves. I think it will be okay. So we want to make sure that the crown of the plant does not go under the soil. So don't put the soil any higher than the bottom of the leaves. I think I'm going to put a little bit more in there because it'll be too deep in the pot. Otherwise, you don't really want the leaves to rest on the edge of the pot can cause the leaves to break off. So let's see. I think about there looks pretty good. They're resting a little bit on there. Might put a little bit more. All right. It's ready to go. Gonna fill in. Usually I have my soil a little bit wet so that it's not quite so dry, but I left the lid off, and I have a dehumidifier in my plant room, so it dried it out. But that's okay. We'll water it really good after. All right, so I'm not packing it. I'm just moving it around. You can tap it a little bit to make sure that there's no big air pockets. I see, oops, there we go. See under there. Don't want to cover that middle part. All right, now let's see if I have a water bottle. I don't have any water in it, but I would just kind of go around it and put water in. We can do that here just a second. All right, so just around here. I might want to let it sit a little bit since the soil was so dry before I put it on there, and give it a little bit more water. The plant wasn't super dry, but the mix was really dry. And I also have a little brush that I can use to kind of get the soil off of the leaves. You can rinse them off if you want. You just want to make sure that you don't put it directly under the lights with water on it like this. The water kind of acts like a magnifying glass under the lights and will burn holes in your plant. But it is okay to get them all wet. If I get the center wet, I'll take a little corner of a paper towel and just kind of get in there and make sure I dry out that center so it doesn't rot. But this one is ready to go.